So I started crocheting in September. I haven't stopped since. It's really fun for me. And I just wanted to show you what I've done. A lot of these things I'm really, really proud of, and hopefully it'll inspire you to make the same things or similar things. And some of them I'm really just like, I made one little mistake or two mistakes that just like added up to something that's like unwearable, unusable. And I'll show you those things as well. And hopefully if you're also new to crochet, you won't mess up in the same ways. So heed my warning. And yeah, I'm gonna go sit in my bed because I think that's easier to like film. The first thing that I made that I want to show y'all is this jacket. I made it for my partner. This is like the Relaxagon pattern. They got really popular on social media. It's how I got into crochet in the first place. It's quite the complicated thing to have be your like first thing that you make. Usually someone would make like, I don't know, a little blanket or something rectangular, but I can't really get into things, new things, unless they're really exciting for me. And I'm not very excited about the idea of like making a little square and that's it. I'm more excited about the idea of like giving something nice to myself or to someone I really care about, and doing something big that like I'm gonna be very proud of. And this looks complicated, but really it's just like one style of stitch the whole way through. And obviously it's like pretty big on me, but it is very comfortable. It's cotton, it's like very breathable. He never wears it because we're in Chicago and it's like in the negatives right now. But come springtime, I'm sure he's gonna be wearing it, or even summer. From there, I got really excited because people loved when I made that. And I was like, okay, I wanna make something else really big that like challenges me in so many different ways. And so that's how I ended up with this. And so this little, this little froggy vest, I love it in theory. Like it's so pretty and it's the right shape and I love the colors and the patterns. But here's where I learned one of the biggest mistakes about that like new crocheters make, which is that like the type of yarn you pick really, really matters. And I knew I wanted cotton because cotton's really breathable and it's like environmentally, it's like fine and it's vegan and all these things and it's, you know, biodegradable. Hypoallergenic, like I could keep going on. But this cotton is like designed for rags and like kitchenware, so it's like not the most comfortable. To be fair, I never blocked this. That's another crochet thing that like you learn to do as you get better at crochet. Because when I didn't block this when I first made it, and then I blocked it and it was too big on him and I had to like redo a lot of parts of this. But yeah, I'm gonna put it on anyways just so y'all can see what it looks like. Like it's cute. I did a good job. It's just the yarn type is so wrong. And then also I did this pixel art in the front, and something I didn't know at the time was how to do pixel art, and I didn't look it up. I just like winged it. And so it's this kind of a blurry image where I didn't really want it to be so blurry. Crochet is generally not good for pixels compared to like knitting or like Tunisian crochet, which I've learned to do since. But you know, it is what it is. This is what I made. So this was me challenging myself to make crochet shorts. I like the idea of like having a two-piece summer set. That never happened. It's winter, so I got time. But where it's like very breathable, and I like the idea of crochet pants, but I also don't like that there's a holes on it, which is kind of just like how crochet is. I could do a lining. Basically, I tried to turn a Relaxagon into shorts, and I kind of made it happen. Like, as you can see, the Relaxagon allows for the shorts to have like a good amount of leg room and hip room. The issue is that the leg room and the hip room are like directly linked to each other in a way where like it's kind of hard to make sure that your waist isn't getting too wide.
which is what happened here. The waist is too wide for me, and then the legs are pretty tight, so it just looks like it's just a very ill-fitting pair of shorts. I played with like a velvet yarn line in here, which I was having a lot of fun with. But again, it was also like not, these are all yarn scraps. I frogged this thing, I think like 6 or 7 times and like redesigned the whole thing, tried again, redesign, tried again, and just kept failing. You can even see here on the sides that I did this triangle where like the top of the pants would be a lot tighter and then the bottom would be a lot looser. And that is pretty well blended and it kind of worked, but I had to do it much earlier for this to be successful. This is definitely my second fail out of 3. So we're 1 for 3 so far with my crochet journey, but for some reason, you know, I was still happy about it. Now we're gonna move on to the hats because I made a lot of hats and I don't know which one came first or what, but I'm pretty sure it started with this one. From previous projects, I was really excited about crochet ribbing patterns, specifically the slip stitch crochet ribbing, and this is just like, it looks kind of like the bottom of a Coca-Cola can on the, from the top. It's like a little star. But yeah, this is all crochet ribbing. It's really thick and nice. I don't like it as much as other stuff I've made since, but honestly, it's not bad. It's a little maybe loose on the edges, and I wish it was a little longer so I could flip it over on itself and have it more of a rim, but not bad. Then I made this, which is another attempt at trying to make some more ribbing. Too small of a rib, and then the hat itself is too small, so I just kind of wear it down. And then here I learned star stitch, which is like my favorite stitch now. And this star stitch kind of has this like honeybee pattern, and yeah. This hat is really comfortable. I wear it all the time. I love it. Success. Really awesome. Only thing I don't like about this hat is that I made it with acrylic yarns because this was happening during my period of like, oh my gosh, I love crochet. I love it so much. I don't even want to like use my phone or like listen to music or anything. I just want to crochet. And so I just went to Joann's and found whatever I could. I probably will stick to cotton from now on. And then I made this hat. So I went to a little crochet pop-up in Hyde Park, and I saw this hat, and it had these like little V's on it. I thought they were so cool. And this isn't exactly what the hat looked like, but it kind of looked like hearts or like a chevron. And this is knit. And I tried like 5 or 6 different ways of doing these hearts. And this is the best I could get. Basically, this is me stealing someone else's design. Next hats I make, I'm gonna make like a really thick ribbing for the edge so I can flip it up. Then I made this, which is a balaclava. This is like beginning of fall. I was like, okay, winter's coming. I needed something cool for the Chicago weather. And, oh, sorry, I hit the microphone. And you know what? Or by cool, I mean warm, because this is not cool at all. Jason makes fun of me and he says that it looks like I'm a knight, which I hate, but I hate it because it's true. It's very comfortable. It doesn't cover my face. Like it's way too open here. I really wanted it to fit kind of like a little sock and be really like tight and cute, but it's not. And the yarn is really thick. It was like an acrylic yarn that I got on sale. This is a no. This is a no-go. I might try some more balaclavas in the future, but yeah, I'm done with that one. Okay, last hat I'm going to show you is by far my favorite hat. I have people stopping me on the street asking about this hat. And this hat, I saw an ad, I think it was on Instagram, $100+ hat. I think it might have even been $200 or $140 or something. And I figured that I could make it myself. I mean, it makes sense that crochet is so expensive because you can't make this with a machine. And what it is, it's a single crochet hat that I then did more single crochet on top of in little lines. using the holes in the hat as like a guide to where to put these little strands. And I had them loop, and I tried to make it like really organic little patterns. And I wear it all the time. This is my favorite hat. And I'm very proud of it. I think it's great. Yeah. Okay. Another one I get a lot of compliments on. I made this granny stitch grocery bag, or I guess like beach bag. Again, it's like kind of a pattern I came up with myself, but I was inspired by whatever. There's this woman, she does a lot of like weekly projects, and I saw she made a blanket or like a pillow with this kind of pattern on it, and I was just like, oh, I've never seen a granny square be like that big, and just like never seen a pattern. Oh, she made a blanket. Never seen a granny square that big, and yeah, I could definitely turn a granny square into something fun like a bag. And so I did exactly that, and hi, Pooch. And Pooch is always inside of this bag. But my favorite thing, or the thing I would change about this bag, one, if you don't want your crochet bags to be like this, where they're kind of stretched out, you definitely want to line it. And the second thing is, I made these straps really, really way too long. They stretch the more you use them. I wish I would have done a thermal stitch, one, and two, I just wish I would have made them shorter. So yeah, those are my two regrets. And this was a case of like me using up that yarn that I used to make the famously unwearable Froggy Fire, what do you call this, vest. I figured this was the right purpose for that yarn. Not too stretchy of a yarn, very durable, very washable, and no regrets. It's awesome. I love this bag. I love this bag so much. So I made these coasters, and I was thinking of making them as a present for somebody, or even just for myself. And they're made with, it's not, I don't know if it's called Star Stitch, or if it's called like, I don't know what it's called. I'll post the lady that I learned this stitch pattern from. Yeah, these coasters, I was thinking like it doesn't make sense that most coasters are made out of a material that like doesn't absorb water, and cotton is that material, and so I wanted to make some, and they're great, but I will say like they're kind of thick in that it feels like things are unstable on top of them. So in the future, I probably will choose something else to make coasters out of. Maybe just make a crocheted coaster that's a little thinner, more like a doily. I always wear a little bag like this, and I wanted to try Tunisian crochet. I just got my Tunisian crochet kit, and I saw someone make this kind of like houndstooth pattern out of Tunisian crochet. And so that's what this is. And I like it, but it's also like too, like it tends to sit like this on me, or like sideways, and it tends to bend when I have things inside of it. And it's really stretchy. There's just like a slip stitch. There's a lot of things I don't like about this. If I were to make myself a bag again, I would use lining, and I would make rectangles on the side to give a little more room for other stuff to fit inside of here. I wanted to use the same relaxagon pattern to make myself something, and this is what I made. This is like a really thin socking yarn that has this really cool gradient on it. And I used it to make this, and I really like it. It's very comfortable, it's very cool. I think I made it a little too small, so I might keep going at it and adding more length to it, and just like make it feel a little bit more like an outer layer. Mercerized cotton, it's very comfortable, a lot thinner. The one I made my partner, the Relaxagon, was a little too thick, a little too heavy, and so I think it's a good idea to stick to like a little bit of a thinner yarn, even though it took forever. This is definitely like the most work I've ever done on a crochet project. And you can tell, I mean, look how many little granny stitches are here. It's a lot. Okay, and finally, and this is something I blocked, and I measured multiple times, and I used my own sweater to measure out the dimensions of. It's this little cool retro sweater. It's my favorite thing ever, and I'm gonna put it on. So I'm definitely gonna make a more long form video explaining like how I made this, but I followed a pattern on YouTube, and I drastically changed like the colors that they used. They only use one color, and it was a cardigan for them, and I made it not a cardigan. But I was inspired by them, and I'm so happy I made it. Initially, when I told myself that I wanted to make sweaters, I was kind of like feeling weird about having this drop shoulder situation, which is like the easiest way to make a rectangle, 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 rectangle type sweater pattern. But no regrets. I think it's part of the look, and I like it. And in the future, I'll try some other forms of making a sweater. And so yeah, I think with that, that's everything I made this in 2023. In September, there's one or two other things that I made that I gifted, like this little Halloween hat I made for a coworker's newborn. Doesn't fit, but I did make it for them. All right, anyways, thank you for listening to me. This has been Romi from my bed. Peace.